Hello, we're going to be doing 19.2 today. It's kind of a short chapter. It's understanding equivalent fractions. Let me get my book going for you. When understanding equivalent fractions, you need to understand what the word equivalent means. Equivalent means equal or the same. This says one whole. 1/2 out of one whole, right? So 1/2 out of a one whole is 1/2. So 1 out of 2 equal parts is 1/2. 2/4 or 2 out of 4 equal parts is also 1/2. 4 out of 8 equal parts is also one whole. You'll notice that these three fractions are exactly the same size. They're equivalent fractions, equal fractions. Even though they don't have the same denominator, they all mean the same amount. Very good. All right, so the fractions 1/2, 2/4, and 4/8 have different numerators and denominators, but 1/2 is equal to 2/4, and that's equal to 3/6, and that's equal to 4/8. Right, they're called equivalent fractions. Down here, let's find all of the equivalent fractions. Here we know 2/3 of the bar is shaded. 2/3 is the same thing as what? Sorry, there's a lawnmower. I apologize. 2/3 is the same thing as 4/6 because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. They added an extra little division. Right here, 2/3 is the same thing as 6/9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9. 6/9. Very good. Those are all equivalent fractions. See how they're all lined up and they're all exactly the same? And what's neat is you just divided each section the same way. 1/3 is equal to how many sixths? 2/6. Very good. And then here it says is equal to 3 what? Well, let's count the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the same thing as 3/9. And then here it asks us to name the whole thing. Do we know how to do that? Yes. First, let's count the number total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's divided into 12. Those are small pieces. How many are shaded in? 4/12. So if I wrote that out, 1/3, that's the same thing as 2/6. And here it's showing me that's the same thing as 3/9. And that's the same thing as 4/12. You'll eventually notice a pattern in finding these as an easy way to find equivalent fractions. That's not something we have to learn right now, but I bet you can find what the next one would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Pretty cool, huh? I'll talk about why that works in another video. Here it says we're going to use the number line to find equivalent fractions. You'll notice that 1/2, it says is the same thing as 2/4, is the same thing as 4/8. Excuse the lawnmower, I'm going to pause it just a second. I may have to pause it again, I'm sorry. Quiet time is hard to come by in this house. All right, so let's do it on here. Well, it says copy the number lines on a sheet of paper. Well, we'll just do it together here, okay? This is 0, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Let's look at this one. 0 blank blank 3/6 blank blank 1. Right, we know we're going to be dividing these into sixths. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 6/6 is the same thing as one whole. Down here, they're ninths, so you know it's going to be 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9, 5/9, 6/9, 7/9, 8/9, 9/9, which is the same thing as one whole. So what are some things that equal 1/3? You'll notice that these right here all line up together. So 1/3 is the same thing as 2/6. So you would write 2/6 is the same thing as 3/9. All right, what about 2/3? Which things line up with 2/3? 4/6 and 6/9. Almost done. All right, find the equivalent fraction of 2/5. 2/5 is the same thing as blank blank. Well, let's look. They divided these into 10 equal parts. How many of 10? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/10. 2/5 is the same thing as what? Well, now let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 15 equal parts. So there are 6 out of 15. So 6/15. So 4/10 and 6/15. Let's write that down. 2/5 equals 4/10. The same thing. Equals 6/15. Do you see that there's even a pattern here? What do you think the next one could be if we follow this pattern? 2, 4, 6, 8, 5, 10, 15, 20. Isn't that neat? I can't wait to discuss that pattern with you. Down here, use a fraction strip to find two equivalent fractions to 1/6. I'm going to help you. 1/6 is the same thing as, well, let me draw it. You don't have fraction strips at home. So 1/6, if I divided each of these in half one more time, they would be into 12ths then, right? How many would be shaded in? Oops, sorry. How many would be shaded in? 2. 2/12. So 1/6 equals 2/12. If you follow that pattern, what do you think the next one would be? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, what if I divided each of these into thirds? Right? So if I did 1/6 is the same thing as 1, 2, 3 out of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 3/18. Is that following that pattern again? 1, 2, 3, 6, 12, 18. What do you think the next one could be? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, 18, 24. You can find these with math. Are you starting to discover a way to do it? I sure hope so. For number 3, use the number lines to find equivalent fractions. All you need to do is follow those fractions straight down the line. So like 1/5 is the same thing as 2/10 is the same thing as 3/5. And so there you go. 1/5, 2/10, 3/15. Don't forget to do your workbook pages 93 through 96.